So, hi, Alex. Thanks for joining me today. You were here, I'm in actual studio in 2019, before the global pandemic hit. It's great to see you again, talk to you again, even as a Zoom call. Always pleasure to have you.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to be with you.
Thanks. So, how are things going? Where are you right now?
For the moment, it's actually quite okay. Actually, we just finished part of our tour, and nobody got ill. We could finish the tour.
It's good to hear.
We had full venues, a lot of people. So it was okay. It was actually much better than I expected it would be. And we're working on a new record already because the other one is a year old. So we're basically half of the time in the studio, half of the time on the road.
Nice. By the way, love the new haircut. You look super refreshed.
Thank you. Yeah.
So you're going to be in Istanbul on June 11 at Harbiye Cemil Topuzlu Açık Hava Tiyatrosu, which is a wonderful venue, a perfect match with your music, I think. It's cinematic, nostalgic, and melancholic, and romantic, also great acoustic. So organized by Kültür AŞ, which belongs to the Istanbul Metropolitan Municipality. Before talk about the show, I got a few questions for you. Let's start with the new album, which was released last year. Making an album is difficult in itself, but you had to release the album during the pandemic. How was that? How was it been making music and just living in the pandemic for you? I also wonder how the pandemic may have impacted your creative decisions.
Well, it was kind of a challenge because, in the beginning it was really difficult. But on the other hand, I think the pandemic gave me a lot of time to write, actually.
So you've been writing a lot.
Yeah, to quickly explain how it used to be, 20 years ago. Everything was more separated. So you would be writing on an album for months, and then you would record the album for months. Then you would do promo, you would do photo shoots, and then you would go on the road for 1 year or so, So everything was separate, so you could really focus. And nowadays, in modern times, everything is like is mixed. So one day I'm in the studio, then I'm doing an interview, then I'm doing I'm doing a gig. Like on Saturday I was playing. Now I'm finishing a mix. So it's all more like mixed up. And the pandemic kind of gave me some. In the beginning, it gave me some rest or something. It gave me some focus on writing again. So that was good. On the other hand, it was in the beginning without the tests and without the vaccines. It was difficult to work together with people. So sometimes I was writing with a friend in Italy online, with Zoom. We would have like a Zoom connection, and then we would write songs. And luckily, the systems are so high tech that you can record something and somebody in Italy would hear what you're doing, and he would do something and I could hear. So we did it, but you miss kind of like energy, Human beings are energy. So being together in a room is like energy. So I have to say I did it twice, and then I decided not to do it anymore and try to kind of like, get together with people. And I did, like with friends that I know very well, with Gek, of course, with the singer. We tested each other, we tested every day, and we made sure we were healthy, and so that we could work together, So, but it is true. The last album, I sent the tracks to our drummer who recorded the drums at home and sent it back. And normally he would come to my studio and we'd do it together. So it was kind of difficult. But on the other hand, human beings are very. Yeah, we're very flexible, We adapt, We always adapt, and we will always adapt. So we did, and it's kind of crazy because the album opens with a glitch of the heart, and it's a lyric I actually wrote with Nina Samperman's a good friend of mine, like I think a year before the pandemic or half a year before the pandemic started. We wrote this line: "It's in the air that I breathe, are we infected?" And it was almost like as if we had a vision or something. So our world is crumbling down. It's turned inside out. It's like It actually was, the song was actually basically the soundtrack to the pandemic. But I wrote it actually before the pandemic. And that's why it's the opening track on the album, you know, because it was so visionary almost.
Have you a particular favorite songs on it?
Oh,
Mine?
that's always difficult, you know. Like I really like Hidden Stories a lot. I like A Glitch of the Heart a lot. But there's other songs, you know, like I like the drama in Full Moon Duel. If You'd Really Know Me is really beautiful. The Wrong Place, yeah. It's like asking somebody with kids, like, which is your favorite kid, you know? Like,
Yeah,
it's really
sure.
difficult to choose.
Lift Me Up is also cool. Summer, beautiful summer song.
Definitely, it was that one of those songs that I was writing with Nina, with a friend, and we were actually finishing a 2-day writing session. And we had a couple of hours left, and I had this sample, you know, that I found somewhere, and I said to her, like, I have this sample, can we do something? And we wrote the song in like less than an hour, I think. And most of the times those are great tracks, you know, they are effortless. They kind of like come and they're instantly there. And the biggest hits I wrote, like Mad About You or Anger Never Dies or Eden, they were all written like that, almost as if somebody grabs your hand and makes you write these lyrics, and the melody comes up really fast and very spontaneous. And a lot of people ask me then, so you don't have to work a lot? And then I always have to reply, oh no, I have to write a lot of songs, and then when I'm in some kind of flow, at some point something happens, and then something magical happens. But it won't happen if you're not constantly writing and constantly working. It's like you need to kind of go in this kind of working flow, and then at some point there's something like happening, and it's like that's the reason why I like working, because you can't control it. There's no formula to write songs like Mad About You or Eden or Anger Never Dies. You just write them at some point without actually controlling it.
By the way, speaking of Gaika, you're also reunited with the original singer, Gaika. How did that happen, getting back together, and how do you feel about it? The previous singers were amazing too, but there's something special about her, I think. I would say I'm so glad that she rejoined the band.
Yeah,
we are so happy about it.
We're all very happy about it. It's like it was kind of very natural. She called me for she was doing like a television show in Belgium, and they wanted to do a couple of Hooverphonic covers in that show. And she wanted my approval. She said, like, is it okay if I do that? And I said, like, yeah, of course, no problem. You know, everybody can cover a Hooverphonic song. It's not like, you know, for me, the song that I write is like, you know, you cherish it and you create it, and then you let it go and you let it, like, you know, that it needs to live its own life in the world. And so we were talking on the phone. I said, like, well, what are you doing? Well, I'm doing this television show. She asked me, what are you guys doing? And we were at that point, we were working on the Magnificent Tree tour. You know, we wanted to do like play the whole album, the Magnificent Tree, on the road live. And as a joke, I said, like, you know, like, maybe you should sing it, you know. And then he said, like, yeah, maybe I should. And then, you know, a couple of days later, I called her back. I said, like, well, we were joking, but actually now I'm serious. Actually, it would be great if you would do it. And she said, like, I thought you would never ask me. And so it's like, you know, it was really spontaneous, and it was just the right moment. I think, you know, we all felt like working together again. And so, yeah, really weird. In the middle of a pandemic, we reunited and we worked on a new album. And that's and the rest is history. It was a pity to let Luca go, but you know, like, for us, Gege is iconic. And
for sure.
For a lot of fans, she is also iconic. And I have to say, when we're together on stage with the orchestra, we already did a lot of gigs with the orchestra now. It's just like magic, you know. So yeah, so we're all very, very excited that we're back together.
Did working with her again spark a sense of nostalgia for you?
It's basically it's just chemistry. Working with her is like it's like the chemicals reacts perfect with her. It's like, you know, the way I write music and the way she sings it. It's just a marriage made in heaven, you know. Like, and I think it's basically because her voice is not perfect. It's the imperfection in her voice that is actually perfect. That's why she's the perfect vocalist for our band. There's something in her vocals that is very particular and very, also very recognizable, I guess. And she just, you know, like, I don't have to explain a lot when we record or something. She sings it, and it's always, well, how it should be. And that's kind of like, that's something you can't force, you know. It's just like that, you know. And so, yeah. We're now working on a new record because Hidden Stories was actually already written before Jacob was there. We did a couple of songs like the Wrong Place and stuff. We did, but now we're actually working on a new record, and where the input is even bigger, and it's just
great news.
To work together. So yeah, so it's just kind of we're going back to our roots. It's a bit more electronic again, a bit more 90s, but still now, you know, like there's something I always try through my whole career to kind of never forget who you are, but at the same time evolve with what happens around you. And I think that's a very thin line. It's a very difficult balance, but it's like The Wrong Place. It's trip hop, but it's also a song that could be done by a new young artist or something. And I think that's what attracts me, you know, like I always try to do something quite timeless or something, you know, like timeless and at the same time hip. Very difficult, but it's like it's something I try to do.
Also, in the same month, you released a new version of Mad About You for this iconic song's 20th anniversary. What's the difference of the new version?
The difference is that it's a different key. It's a more melancholic key. Tempo is a bit slower. It's a bit more how I would love to have written it, and know that it's stupid because most people love the original, but people will always prefer the original, and it's always got to be, it's this kind of iconic evergreen, you know. But for me, you know, like as a musician, I always wanted it to be a bit more trip hop than it was at the time, and so the 2020 version is like a bit darker, a bit more cut up. It's like I took the original strings and cut them up, and I changed the harmonics, and I just kind of like, you know, I like that new version. But I'm a realist. I realize that most people will always want to hear that original. So don't worry, people. When we come to Istanbul, we'll play the original.
I was about to asking that. So it's going to be your first time with orchestra in Turkey, I guess. Can you tell us about your orchestral set? How many musicians are involved, and what can we expect from the show?
Well, it's the first time actually out of the Benelux that we're doing it. We did one gig once in Prague. We did like with an 8-piece string octet, but we never played outside the Benelux, outside Holland and Belgium. We never played with a big orchestra. So we're actually, you know, already asking a lot of promoters to do it, you know, and nobody wants to take the risk. And then last time we were in Istanbul, we were talking to the promoter, and he said like, oh yeah, we would love to do that. And so we started talking, and now it's finally, we're gonna be there with a local Turkish orchestra. It was actually the idea before the pandemic, and then the pandemic kind of like, then it wasn't possible. So we're now thrilled, and it's fantastic to be able to do that in such a great environment. It's like it's a 16-piece string orchestra, 4 brass and a percussionist, like, you know, timpans and like and then the band, of course. So we're like in total we're with 27 on stage.
Wow, that's amazing.
So it's not a symphonic orchestra. It's like it's a big chamber orchestra, but that's actually basically the sound we mostly have actually on records. So so we and it's our my friend Cedric Merat, who is like the conductor, and he plays the violin on our records, and he does all the orchestrations. He's going one day early, and then he's gonna have rehearsals with the Turkish orchestra, and then the next day we're rehearsing together with it, and then we played that same evening. So I'm very thrilled, and I'm very looking forward to it.
So lastly, any messages for Istanbul audience?
Messages. Well, it's the best audience in the world anyway. So,
We love you, yeah.
I have to say Prague is runner-up. Prague in the Czech Republic is like also crazy. But I still remember, one of my shows that I remember of 25 years or 27 years of career is like at some point we played in Istanbul at the university, at the Galatasaray University. And I still remember, it was quite early in our career, and we were like on it was open air. We saw the bridge between Europe and Asia, and we started playing, and the crowd knew all the songs by heart. They started singing, but not only the singles, they knew all the songs, and I was so amazed. I was like, wow, they really dig this. It kind of, and then. The reaction after the game, the best audience is the audience that listens to the songs and between the songs is really loud. That's the best audience, and the Istanbul audience is always like that. They're just really mad and wild between the songs, but during the songs they really listen to every note, and that's just, as a musician, that's just heaven. It's just great. So last time as well, when we played in 19, we played 3 times the club at Zorlu.
Zorlu, yeah.
And
we were there.
Yeah, and it was just amazing, so
when this event,
I have to say, we're always very, very, very excited to come to Istanbul. Yeah. It's also one of the cities that streams our music the most on Spotify, which is also great to always see that Istanbul is like up in the charts of the Hooverphonic Spotify plays.
Turkey mad about you. When this event first announced, people got mad. You can't imagine. Oh my God, Hooverphonic's coming again. It's crazy. So thank you so much for your time and joining us. Always pleasure. Looking forward to the show.
Me too, and it's my pleasure doing this interview. And hopefully we'll see you on Saturday. It is, yeah.
Yes,
Saturday,
yes.
In Istanbul.
Can't wait. Can't see you on stage again.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.